Hi everybody, welcome to the live stream. Technical details as always. All right. Welcome in, welcome in. How is everybody tonight? Tonight we are going to do a total awesome listening to the Silksong soundtrack, paying homage to the Silksong game. And if you don't know what Silksong is, it's the sequel to a quite known game called Hollow Knight. And by all means, if you have any favorite tracks, please shoot them in the comments here or the chat here so we can check out those tracks first. We are listening to one of my own tracks called Jesters' Face from a double album called Diabolical Nyleth. Somehow I had some issues with OBS because it had apparently logged me out of YouTube within the app, so I had to reauthorize everything. As always, you think it's going to be a swift and problem-free stream, but it's always a little bit of fiddling. But we're up and running. So we're going to get going here with a Silksong track. Just some backstory here. I actually haven't played Silksong myself yet, but I do play Hollow Knight on the PS5. I haven't finished it yet, but I have it on my to-do list. So let's get going here with the first track, Enter Pharloom. Yeah, nice opening. Real nice brass work. Instant epic. Lovely dynamics in this track. Listen to the string runs. Matt Drummond, welcome to the live stream. No, we're not gone too lazy yet. Okay, best song by far. Next song here is Moss Grotto. Yeah, I'm doing fine, thanks. And you? Good to have you on board here. Yeah, I have quite a stack of tracks to go through today. But the first track here, Enter Pharloom, at least the first track on the soundtrack. It's probably not the first track in the game. I heard the menu theme previously, and it's a really wonderful theme. Quite simple and very compelling. But in this Enter Pharloom, I really love the melodies. It's really strong but like simple melodies, but all that stuff that goes on in the background with the string runs and everything, it's really well programmed, I guess. I don't know if they used some real strings mixed in on this soundtrack. Please let me know here in the chat if you know what kind of arrangements they had. But it seems it sounds like programmed stuff because yeah, all the fast stuff there. Orbital 1337, welcome to the live stream. Hi there. Really hard for me to pick a favorite from the OST. There are so many good ones. Yeah, it's an exquisite little soundtrack, little compared to Clair Obscur. Yeah, Clair Obscur, triple album. Triple X. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know how many hours of gameplay it is within Hollow Knight? But I mean, it's a really strong opening here on the soundtrack, Enter Pharloom. Really great track to place as the first one too, because yeah, all that like epicness and fast stuff, and then go down to some dynamics or lower dynamic part with that like ambient with the choirs and stuff. It's a really nice blend of stuff. I really love those tracks where you really adventure somewhere in the track that has this emotional arc, so to speak. Okay, so let's continue with the Moss Grotto. We'll get to Lace later. It's on the list here. Moss Grotto. Ah, awesome. Thanks, Orbital. It did sound very like alive, so. Sweet intro. Ooh, nice switch there. It's like mysterious sometimes when it climbs out of the scale. Wonderful section. And modulation. Yeah, love this track already. Love those unexpected parts in the song. Yeah, also a really strong track. Obviously a lot lower, like dynamic and a more soft kind of track compared to the previous one. Matt Drummond, this song really encapsulates the Hollow Knight atmosphere. Yeah, it's really wondrous song, that one. And Orbital enlightened me here that it's real musicians this time. Yeah, so the original Hollow Knight already has had a really great soundtrack, but it's lovely to hear it's some real musicians mixed in here on this sequel soundtrack. You Pray for the High Hills and Choral Chambers. Yeah, we'll put them on the list, just for you, Matt Drummond. Okay, so next up, let's see here. Let's go for the High Halls, since you requested it, Matt. There's a lot of harp in this game. If I recall, it's also a lot of harp in the first Hollow Knight. It really gives you that like cavernous kind of feel, that you're in a cave somewhere. At least that's how I perceive this, with the reverb. Really lovely with that high melody, high flute, or piccolo flute maybe. Cheers! Yeah, so that was the High Halls. A quite short cue, but also lovely with the harp. And as I mentioned, it really depicts the like cavernous feel. Not claustrophobic, but like beautiful cave-like crystal caves or something. Really lovely with harp and a nice lush reverb. Let's take the Choral Chambers after this one. Some new people in here. By all means, say hi here in the chat. Don't be afraid. We don't bite. We only sting like the stingrays. Like the lance of Silksong. Choral Chambers. Almost a bit inspired by Interstellar. Oh, love the choirs. Instant favorite. Love all this unexpected part these unexpected parts that suddenly appear in the tracks. Man, what an arrangement. What a great track. God. The pads. Yeah, I'm in love with this song. That's a really nice arrangement on that one with all the choirs and the dynamics, and the song so far, they really go somewhere, although it's you could say it's background music obviously in the game, but you can still hear it's going places, and yeah, with all these dynamic parts. Love that arrangement. The area being traumatizing. Isn't that like all areas in Hollow Knight? At least that's what I recall from the gameplay. Quite intense at times. But then it's these like calm parts, and yeah, I really love the like desolate feeling, the cavernous, desolate feeling that you get from playing the game. It's like beautiful and desolate at the same time. Really nice blend, mixture there. Yeah, so thanks Matt Drummond for tipping on the high halls and the choral chambers. Yeah, I can understand this track has like 1 million views compared to the other tracks on the soundtrack. The other tracks has like 200,000, yeah, around 300,000 plays. And then you have choral chambers, 1 million. No shit. Okay, so what's next? Let's take Lace. And now it's 3-4 suddenly. Yeah, it's 5-4, but it's split like 3-2-2-3. Nice string work. Almost became like polyrhythm or polymeter. This definitely must be a boss fight. Yeah, I love this track already too. All those small fills. Yeah, what a track, Lace. Yeah, so it was 5-4, but split into 3-2-2-3. 1-2-3, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2-3. And then you get this like a polyrhythm later on there. And then it's suddenly 3-4, and then the 3-4 for a few bars, and then you have a not complete 3-4 before it goes back into this 5-4 again, but the 3-2-2-3. Yeah, beautiful track, beautiful arrangement, and again, really, really great string work. I guess they practiced a bit before they put this song to tape, so to speak. Yeah, definitely my favorite so far, the Choral Chambers and Lace. But I really enjoyed the first tracks too, the Enter Pharloom and Moss Grotto. But it's totally different vibes. I mean, these two are a bit more complicated arrangement-wise, I guess, and also musically more challenging. But if you watch my previous live streams or videos, you know I'm a sucker for cello. I usually say cello, but that's because we say cello in Swedish, but cello. But I really love that instrument, and it's so upfront, and the raspiness and the wood in the sound and everything. Yeah, I just love it. Okay, so what track should we tackle next? By all means, don't be afraid. Shoot any questions or comments or song requests. And you can also request future soundtracks that we should tackle here on my channel, either in a live stream or in a video. And by all means, thanks to all the new subscribers. We recently hit, I think it's 53,000 subscribers on the channel. Totally insane. 57,000 subscribers. Totally insane. So big love backs to everybody who subscribe to my channel. And by all means, if you want to support my channel or get more like behind the scenes footage and also get my free cinematic music course, consider going to patreon.com/Gelhain and yeah, check out what's there. Okay, so is that the like Ukrainian or Russian name? I have no idea. Hard to spell, but you're requesting Widow. Yeah, thank you back. Orbital 1337. Leet. Vote for Bilewater. Yes, we're gonna do those tracks. Thanks. So by all means, if you want to support my work here on YouTube, check out my Patreon. The link is here in the chat. Patreon.com/Gelhain. So let's continue with Dum-de-dum. Dum-de-da-de-dum. Not Cogwork Core. There's a lot of cool names in the soundtrack. I'm gonna get lost in the soundtrack. Okay, next up, Bilewater. Love that. There's a lot of small surprises in the music. Unexpected stuff, at least for me. Beautiful. Another lovely song and like exquisite string arrangement. It's a really great string work and voice leading in this soundtrack, and all that unexpected like modulations that's happening in the score. Really love that. It's so great to hear a soundtrack that really takes you to places. It's a really adventurous vibe so far. Next one. Widow. But again, I need to search and find. Search and thou shalt find the widow, Widowmaker. Intense stuff. This must also be a boss fight. What do you think? I vote for a boss. That part sounded a little bit like Clair Obscur. Random order. Again, really great work with the strings there. It definitely sounds... I wonder if it's the composer who also arranged the strings for all the tracks, or if they collaborated with like classical orchestrator, because it really sounds like some exquisite string arrangement work. Definitely seems to have been more people involved with the arranging here. Really, really exquisite and intricate arranging with all the string parts. Really love that. And that we have that cluster in some of the parts also. Really, really great addition. Yeah, so that was also a really, really nice track. Very well arranged. And I guess it's the boss fight. The intensity. Okay, next up, let's see. Bone Bottom. Where is that one? Where are you? Ah, it's like early in the track list. Yeah, so we're going a little bit random here in the tracks. But we did listen to Lace already. Bone Bottom. A very cute melody. Tragic indeed. Yeah, nice rise here. Yeah, I really love that melody. Okay, so next up, Cogwork Dancers. Indeed. Yeah, so a lot of great tracks so far. And if we compare like the Clair Obscur soundtrack, now when we listen to a few tracks of Silksong, I can definitely, at least my personal like impression of these two soundtracks is that Silksong is a little bit more towards the cinematic, a little bit more intricate arrangings, especially on the string works, compared to Clair Obscur, which seems to be a little bit more direct and intimate rather. A lot more like a chamber string kind of arrangements. At least if we zoom out and look at the typical arrangements of the soundtracks. And Silksong here sounds a lot more cinematic, but also has these intimate tracks too. just a little quick comparison here between Clair Obscur and Silksong. Because I know a lot of people has been voting for Clair Obscur as the game of the year, and also for the soundtrack and everything. And it's a really unique experience, and to finally get the European Final Fantasy, so to speak, which we haven't seen in a long time. Those types of game with like turn-based battles and stuff. And then there's a lot of people also voting for Silksong, I guess, for Game of the Year. Yeah, so we're going to take the Cogwork Dancers. Cogsong Dancers. What have I been drinking? Cogwork Dancers. Found it. Let's go. Cheers! Different vibe in this one. Ooh. Love it. My God. Cool. Yeah, so what a playful track. A lot of twists and turns in the Cogwork Dancers. Really love it so far. After the first listen here. And it's really cool with all those like phases. Is it like boss phases? So it's really cool that it's like switching up gear. And that you have the tick-tock sound in the background to tie it all together. A really nice arrangement in that one too. Okay, so what's next here? Let's take on Strive. Ooh. Nice. I'll say it again, exquisite string work. It's just on another level. Yeah, that one really hits hard. Strive. Again, really love the string work. I'm gonna say that 1,000 times tonight, I guess, but I have to stop myself. But it's a really exquisite string work. And Matt Drummond is wondering what percentage of the strings do you think could be MIDI? These days it's very hard to tell, but there's a lot of wood in the sound and a lot of variation in each strike, so to speak. It's very, very hard for me to tell these days what's sampled and what's not. But it's usually easier to hear if you hear solo parts or solo melodies played. But in these dense arrangements, it's a little bit harder to hear. But it does sound very realistic. So my guess it's a lot of it is real strings. One plus from Red Maiden, a cool reference to the Hornet theme in the original Hollow. Yeah, I recall that theme from the original Hollow Knight. Really lovely theme. Fazreza Risky, are you gonna react to all of them? Well, I hope we can cover a lot of the soundtrack here, because as we can hear, many of the tracks are just a minute or 2 minutes. Well, there's a few of them are 3 and 4 minutes, but a lot of them are 1 minute 30 seconds. So let's find the Red Maiden. You'll help me out here tonight, checking out and memorizing, because dementia and all. Red Maiden, there we have you. Let's give her a spin. Also an unexpected section there at the end. I really love that each track has at least one of these really aha moments where it takes off into a little bit different direction. Really love that. I think David Foster said that in an interview sometime. The one who did all the the great hits for like Celine Dion, Chicago and everything. He said that you have to have one like really a nice change or switch up in your songs in every hit. Sister Splinter is a really evil and scary track. Yeah, we need to listen to a scary track. I say it again, really great string work here. Love the cluster chords where we have like a lot of closed notes. Sounds really intense. Maybe next time I'll just run from the top down because it's hard finding the tracks. For the Clair Obscur live streams I actually prepared like a playlist. But yeah, I want you also to participate here in what kind of tracks we should listen to or not. And yeah, someone actually jumped in on my first live stream prior to the stream, after the live stream, and actually made a timestamp list. So if someone has time to do that, please help up with that. Sister Splinter, let's go evil. Oh. Awesome track. Is that like also for a boss? Sister Splinter. Really love this like really low piano notes that's mixed in with the fast string parts. It's really awesome to have that on like key points to emphasize like the rhythmical stuff. If you want evil sounding organs, definitely do Phantom, Pie Bomb. The Pie Bomb. Yeah, we'll do Phantom. You know he's there. In one combine, the Phantom of the Opera is there inside your mind. But the Phantom is hiding. There we go. Cool! Castlevania! Please leave a like. Again with the track. And this was also a very short one, 1:35. Really wonderful work. Somehow it reminds me a little bit of like John Williams, somehow. John Williams quality kind of string arranging. But obviously with its own take. I really love the twists and turns in every track so far. And it also reminds me, some of the tracks, the playfulness is a little bit like Home Alone, if you know those scores to the Home Alone movies. Favorites, Home Alone 1 and 2. Okay, so we have some new requests. Songclave, beautiful location track. Yeah, we're going to do that one. Last Diva. Oh, near the end of the game. Oh, speaking of game, I do have a VOD channel. While I stream on Twitch, I streamed Clair Obscur from start to finish. But apparently I was a little bit too reluctant to continue playing on the same save. So the save I needed to go back and defeat the final boss again apparently disappeared, so I couldn't go back and redo. I wanted to try the second ending of Clair Obscur, but shit happens. But I'm thinking about playing Silksong 2 and streaming that on Twitch. So you can find me also on Twitch with username Gelhain. If you want to check out my playing Silksong. And I put up the VODs on my second YouTube channel called Gelhain Gaming, if you want to check out me playing Clair Obscur. The previous playbacks. Time Signature, Bell Beast. Yeah, we have to check out those. Really love the work on Lace there with the 5-4 split into 3-2-2-3. It's really a weird combination. And since I'm a really a big fan of prog rock music and grew up playing a lot of prog metal and stuff, so I do love a nice time signature. Mike Portnoy being a big inspiration for my drumming. Lost Dive is an epic one. Okay, so let's continue with Songclave. Found it! Very smooth track. Yeah, lovely song, that one. Really smooth track. Very dreamy. And like with all the tracks here, I just want to take an instrument and play along. It's very tempting and hard to not do that. So that was Songclave. So the Last Dive is an epic one. Also the trailer theme. Last Dive. We need to find you. Hello. Found it. Let's go. Ooh. Love the horns transition. Love that transition when we got the horns. Oops, that's the next one. Lost Lace. Let's take that one. My god, the transitions. It's just perfect. Okay, so it's a boss fight this too. Right, so that was a Lost Lace. Really powerful track. It actually sounds like a finale or something, like a final boss or something. Really nice arrangement. Very cinematic. Big and ballsy trombones. Check out Skarrsinger. Yes. Where do we have that one? Trying to find you. Odd. There we have you. Skarrsinger Karmelita. Karmelita. Yeah, nice with the vocal work. Again, the playfulness is just insane in the tracks. I mean, usually there's like repetitions in game music. Now these are quite short cues, but usually when you listen through like any type of score, there's always some kind of repetition. But here in the Silksong soundtrack, you can definitely hear like every section. It might be a repetition, but there's always stuff happening in the arrangement that makes it unique and totally different than the previous section. So again, I must give a huge kudos to the orchestral arranger, as well as obviously Christopher Larkin here for composing the soundtrack. But my guess it's some kind of orchestral orchestrator also involved in this soundtrack. Yeah, really love that one. So what about Sands of Karak? It doesn't have a lot of place, but we're gonna listen to that one. Different? Is it like Journey? Really sweet overtones. And here we have that extra spicy part that I was talking about earlier. Yes. Yeah, it's another favorite but a totally different vibe. A little bit like a Journey kind of, would fit Journey very well, this song. Love the arrangement and the build. The song actually goes somewhere. That's really sweet with this one too. And like with the other track, it has these like small twists and turns that's unexpected. Some jazzy chords in there and stuff. That's really cool. Nyleth. Yeah, we will check that one, and we will also play King Khann. Crust King Khann. But we're going to begin with Nyleth, requested by the name that I can't pronounce. Let's call you Widow. I think that was your first requested song. As always, make sure you leave likes here on the video, and all the engagement help my channel here to grow, so shoot any type of questions or comments or song requests. Or soundtrack requests too, if you want me to experience or react to other soundtracks in the future. Stream or video. Nyleth. Little bit unexpected turn there with the chord progression. I really love it. Yeah, so there's also a very sweet string arrangement in this one, and again it has these small twists and turns where you expect the chord progression to go somewhere, and then it takes a little bit of a turn. Really sweet, and I felt there were some inspirations from James Horner in this one. Definitely gave me that kind of vibe. Yeah, unfortunately, James Horner died in a helicopter crash. That was, yeah, really, really sad. He's definitely one of my all-time favorite composers. Are definitely James Horner, Hans Zimmer, obviously, John Williams, but also Thomas Newman is very close at heart. Really love his arrangement. Yeah, lovely melody. Next up, Cogwork Core. I think that's one is very close to Cogwork Dancers. Cogwork Core. The sounds. Wow. It sounds like you're like surrounded by a big machinery inside a clock tower or something. And this is like the best sound design ever. No! On many of these cues I just feel, man, they are just too short. I want to hear just 5 minutes more of it. Let's give that one a play again. I just want to hear that. I just want to feel inside a clock tower again. It really takes you inside Big Ben or something. I keep thinking of the film Hugo. Did you watch that movie? I can't recall the composer. I know I've been listening to that soundtrack extensively in the past. Let's see. Yes, Howard Shore. Oh, I forgot to mention Howard Shore, also very, very big inspiration. Did you hear, or you probably heard, the main theme to Ring of Power? Can't recall the full theme, but he's a master of the melodies. But you can hear that in the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, obviously, and many other soundtracks. Just a side note. But we're gonna listen to the Cogwork Core again. Okay, cool. Love those like syncopated rhythms. Yeah, so instant favorite, the Cogwork Core. Yeah, it's a really good, really like awesome work with the sound design and especially like the reverb placements, because you can hear how sounds are like deep in your stereo field at different like length from the listener, from your listening position, like a sound stage. Really awesome work with the sound placements. Okay, so next up, let's listen to Bellhart. Where are you? There you are, Bellhart. Lovely song. Really inspiring, and I just had to pick up the guitar and play a couple of notes. As with other tracks, a really lovely song. Inspiring. The Man with No Name, with a name I can't pronounce, the Bell Beast. Yeah, we have to hear that one. You're so good at remembering what tracks we have played and what tracks we have not played. And speaking of tracks and names, all of the tracks in the soundtrack has so sweet names. Very lovely to see that. Great work on the titles. The tracks are always so playful. I mean, if you compare the like boss themes here in Silksong compared to like boss themes in God of War, totally different ballpark, obviously. Last Judge, yeah, we need to listen to that one. It's so intricate work with all the string arrangements. It's, again, kudos to Christopher Larkin and his orchestrator. And all the string players, obviously. And congratulations to a really, really nice soundtrack. Last Judge, I need to find you. Last Judge. Stop that. Where are you? Ah, track 28. If you know the track number from the original soundtrack, you can always shoot that. Speaking of God of War, here we have it. The playfulness. Lovely ending. So a lot of cool like twists and turns again, and really great work with the rhythms and the rhythmical changes in the tracks. Really cool theme, that one. The Last Judge. So let's continue and listen to Lost Verdania. Lost Verdania. Do you know the track number? Numero tracko. Lost Verdania. It's gonna be hard to pick like a number one favorite from this soundtrack. I'm gonna need to listen to it a little bit more. Lace, obviously, for the 5/4 there. It was just such a cool intertwining with the strings at the ending part of Lace 2. So I do understand the high play for that track. It's just insane arranging. Lost Verdania. Let's give it a play. Again, I have to mention James Horner here. It reminds me of him so much. Lost Verdania. Instantly added to my playlist. Thanks for mentioning this track. Really loved it. Fleatopia. What's up with that track? Let's listen to Fleatopia. Beautiful track. Quite abrupt end to such a smooth song. I would have expected a much smoother ending to this one. Again, you always want to hear more of these tracks, so I guess I'll be playing these on repeat. Did you hear the ride in the background of this track? Really added a nice dimension to the track. You usually don't hear like a ride cymbal on orchestral tracks or in combination with the harp like that, but really lovely. Crush King Khann. Did we listen to that? Probably not. Let's do it. Crush King Khann. R. Borgström, welcome to the live stream. How are you? Where from? Borgström, Sweden? No, we're gonna do that. A cool interplay there with the time signatures and the rhythms. Also a really cool track. André Westberg, Lord of the Rings meet Toto. Yeah, that would be something, Andrew. Good to see you, André. Hur är läget? Are you also playing Silksong? Awakening, we need to find a track. What's the track number? Orbital. Awakening. Track name 38. Let's do that one. Awakening. The Ring. What an ending. Really lovely track, this one. And this one also sounds like a typical like finale or like a game ending or something. This is like the top of the mountain. Really awesome. Boss theme? Maybe? Yeah, Andrew, so we're listening to Silksong, the original soundtrack, going through the soundtrack here, randomly picking tracks from the playlist. Really bombastic track, The Awakening. And like always, Christopher Larkin managed to squeeze in really intricate changes and cluster chords in there. Really lovely. It's gonna be a tough fight for a Game of the Year when it comes to the soundtrack. Because honestly, this one is really sick. It's especially the orchestration, it's totally insane. Trobbio, let's go with that one. Love the grand piano sound on this track. Yeah, so as someone who loves piano and grew up with the piano, this is definitely gonna be one of the tracks I'm gonna come back to. Trobbio. Really unexpected with the title there. Never thought that would be this exquisite piano opus. Awesome track. Okay, so next up, let's try a Dark Descent. Don't think we played that one. The Choir, yeah, we're gonna listen to that one after Dark Descent. Evil. Tormented Trobbio, yeah. Yeah, let's take that one later. Mighty track. Menacing. Awesome track, and with the basses hitting that hard, like really digging into the strings. Love that. The choir. Love the dynamics in the strings, and the choir was also an awesome track. Tormented Trobbio, yeah, we have to do that one. It's just so lovely to hear real strings, like I mentioned with the Clair Obscur soundtrack too. It just gives a totally different dimension to the songs and melodies and the backgrounds when you have real string players. And yeah, real orchestra overall just gives a totally different dimension than the samples. Tormented Trobbio. Ooh, another epic piece. Again, the playfulness in the rhythm, like we can hear in the strings there. Yes, definitely a lot of cool rhythmical work in the soundtrack. Cool to hear trioles mixed in, and syncopations and everything. Red Memory. I don't recall we listened to that one, so let's listen to that one too. Is that gonna be an ambient track? Again, a wonderful string arranging here in the Red Memory. Really lovely to hear. Also some unexpected turns, but generally just overall very emotional theme, this one. The Red Memory. Did we listen to Sister of the Void? Can't recall if we had listened to that. We're almost through the complete soundtrack. Underworks. Can't recall that one, so let's listen to Underworks. Brooding. Gives me 2001 Space Odyssey vibes. It's brooding at the same time as you have a very like big epic feeling from that. A Beautiful Mind, perfect soundtrack. Maybe we should do a reaction video on that one. There's a lot of cool cues in A Beautiful Mind. Yes, that definitely gave me like Stanley Kubrick kind of vibes from 2001. Yeah, maybe Highlander too, Andrew. Can't wait to see the upcoming Highlander movie with, is it Henry Cavill? Yeah, there's no Witcher like Henry Cavill. And speaking of Witcher, we are going to cover a Witcher 3 soundtrack here in an upcoming live stream because it's just one of those wonderful ethnical fantasy kind of soundtracks. Really love it. Lovely game too, obviously. Okay, so we had a request for Marrow. And again, please write the song number if you recall the number from the OST soundtrack. Widow, that's track 15. Where are you, Marrow? Marrow, Marrow. Can't find it. Nope. The Marrow. That's track 5. Didn't we listen to that one already? You probably have better memory than me. Let's take the Marrow. Right into the Marrow. They brought the Gregorian choirs for the ending. Also a very inspiring track. Bell Beast. Yeah, Clover Dancer. Clover Dancers. And that's the track name. Track numero. We did the Cogwork Dancers. I think I'm messing up the names here. The Clover Dancers. Yeah, it was awesome with the Gregorian chants there at the end. It's so lovely to hear so many different instrumentations in all the different tracks. There's always something unique in every track regarding the instrumentation. And another track that you think it's gonna continue, but dead stop. Fleatopia, we had listened to that one earlier. Oh, we're starting to wrap the sack on this one. Reprieve. Track 40. We haven't listened to that one. Let's do that. Different. Yeah, Reprieve is a little bit more anonymous compared to the other tracks, but also very cool. Cool to hear some Zelda influences in this one. And also maybe a little bit of Tunic vibe in there. So did anyone play Tunic here on the live stream? I've been playing it with my son Alexander quite extensively, and I really enjoy that game. So everybody that's been loving the old Zelda games definitely should check out Tunic. Andre, check out Tunic. Excellent game. The main theme. Is the title the main theme? Yeah, see you soon. Have a great weekend, Andrew. Catch you at Willys. What's the main theme? Is that Greymore? I have no clue. I have no idea. Why isn't there any track named the main theme or menu theme or something? Hunter's Trail, Sinner's Road, Cut Through. I think we missed those tracks. Can't find any track named the main theme here. Weird. Let's see if we can play it from another source. It should be on the soundtrack. These Ire is here. Yeah, I guess so. Let's see what we can see. Okay, so the last track. Yeah, obviously, Silksong. They usually name them main theme, but yeah. Thanks for that one. Ah, I played this one, yeah. The menu theme. This part gives me, always gives me the Skyrim vibes. Like the overworld theme. That's not right. Let's take a Hunter's Trail too. Yeah, that was a really good cue. Really sweet melody. Sometimes the melodies give me a little bit flashback to The Last Samurai. Just briefly, but that's also a great soundtrack. If you haven't listened to the Last Samurai soundtrack or watched the movie, it's a no-brainer. It's a really good movie too with Tom Cruise. Yeah, lovely string work. Yeah, so overall it's like a superb, exquisite arrangement on the orchestration in the whole Silksong soundtrack here. And a great lift compared to the previous soundtrack, which was really good. Hollow Knight was awesome. Had some really great melodies and arrangements too, but you obviously hear it's a totally different ball game here. I wonder how long they've been developing Silksong and how long they took to actually complete this track list for Silksong. It sounds like a lot of work. While some of the themes here are quite short, probably because it's like a boss fight or something, but it does sound like a whole lot of work, both composing and especially arranging, doing the string arrangements, and with all these different time signature changes and polyrhythms and stuff. The Game of the Year soundtrack, yeah, it's getting hard for me to choose here because I'm really like hooked up with the melodies of Clair Obscur, obviously. It's such a wonderful soundtrack and very memorable songs. And I mean, Dim Dim Dum, it's like it's never going out of your head once you've heard that. It's that's the trick with memorable melodies. While the Silksong here has a lot of these twists and turns and playfulness in the melodies, it gets a little bit harder to recall and remember the melodies when you have these switches and yeah, like modulations in melodies and stuff. Compared to a simple melody with a simple chord structure like Clair Obscur. So, in my opinion, Clair Obscur sounds like a simpler kind of arranging. It's a more like intimate close-up experience, while this Silksong is a more elaborate, intricate, more like yeah, like The Ring or some other like more classically arranged music. But everybody remembers memorable melody, so I wonder if they're gonna sing Dim Daddy Dim here on the Game of the Year awards, or if they're gonna lullaby to some of the melodies of Silksong. But I heard a lot of sweet tracks today, and again the string arranging and orchestration is just on a totally different level. It's an amazing work. So what are your own opinions? You there in the ether, you there watching this live stream. What's your opinion of a Game of the Year soundtrack? Do you have some other games that you think should win the award? Or do you have some tips for my next live stream? What kind of soundtrack we should listen to? I have a few suggestions of my own, and that's obviously the latest God of War game. I'd love to cover that one, and it would also be lovely to talk about Tunic maybe, because that's such a lovely and different score, different soundtrack, a lot of different like synthesizer sounds, and not the same kind of classical intricate arranging that you can hear in Silksong. And obviously Horizon Zero Dawn, I talk about that many times, because it also has this very unique kind of soundscapes and the different sounds in the soundtrack. It's really compelling. So let me know here in the chat what kind of soundtracks you'd like me to review in, or like me to experience and react to here in coming live streams. Don't be afraid to chit chat. Say hi. Say hi, you're not gonna die. let's listen to Deep Docks. We haven't heard that song yet. Okay, so I think I've made up my mind here regarding my own personal game of the year, because I didn't want to talk about it too much before listening to the full soundtrack of Silksong, but we have been breaking down a lot of the tracks here now, and I think I have a good idea of the overall soundtrack for Silksong. And again, intricate arranging, superb string work. It's a work of art, obviously. It's a real masterpiece. But like you mentioned here in the chat, can you compare Envie Atamir from Clair Obscur with any of these tracks? And obviously you can't, because in Clair Obscur the big deal is that you have real vocalists, real singers, portraying and giving their heart into the singing, and really doing exquisite performances like from Alice and all the other singers and players also too, obviously. But the thing with that soundtrack, Clair Obscur, is that you have these real songs with the lyrics and everything. And I obviously haven't read all the lyrics, but I can feel the emotions from the French and this other Occitan language or whatever. But that's the big thing with the Clair Obscur soundtrack, that you have real vocalists. And like the track Envie Atamir, it's unbeatable, I guess. So I guess for me the award is like a no-brainer. And like I mentioned earlier here in the stream, we finally get like a Westerner version of Final Fantasy, which we've been waiting for quite a long time to get a really good like European version or whatever of a JRPG game. And the story is just the storytelling is on another level. The voice acting is if you compare it to something like, what should we take? Yeah, let's take Mass Effect. What do you think about the Mass Effect games? So the voice acting is just top notch, and I feel that also the animations of the characters in Clair Obscur is really well done. They really portray the emotions of the characters with all the like facial expressions and everything. It's really hard to see it's made by a studio with only 33 people. But someone mentioned in a previous live stream that the combat, I think the combat is developed by a South Korean studio or something for Clair Obscur. So, but I understand it's a collaborative process, obviously, because it's going to be a lot of people involved, and you have to outsource some of the stuff. Maybe it's graphics, maybe it's animation, maybe it's the battle system. And then they could focus on the story, I guess, and focus on the overall story and gameplay. But overall intricate intertwining of the songs and the lyrics with the games and the story takes the soundtrack of Clair Obscur to another level. Although it's not the same intricate, it's not nearly the same intricate orchestral arranging like you hear in Silksong. Silksong is definitely like, it's the Tchaikovsky. Let's put it this way. Silksong is the Tchaikovsky or the James Horner. And Clair Obscur is the Elton John. To put it as clear as possible. For me, it's that way. Silksong is the Tchaikovsky. And Clair Obscur is the Elton John. It's the hits. You have the hits there. It's really hard for me now, after listening through the soundtrack, to really recall some of the melodies I heard here tonight. I usually have a very strong memory for melodies. Obviously I know the menu theme because I also played it on piano in a previous video here when I talked about Silksong. But I'm not roasting the soundtrack here. I'm just saying that they are two totally different soundtracks. So that's I hope that clarifies my view on Clair Obscur versus Silksong soundtracks. Both are extremely well-produced soundtracks. They sound great. They are great on their own, from their own perspective, and for their own genre, so to speak. But Silksong is the Tchaikovsky, and Clair Obscur is the Elton John. That's probably the clearest and most obvious way I could explain my view on these soundtracks. So I'm going to continue listening to Silksong, obviously. Hopefully I can recall some of the melodies and try to play them later on. But Dim Daddy Dim, it just lives its own life in my head. And yeah, so that's that. Thanks everybody for joining in here tonight, going through the Silksong soundtrack. I hope you had a nice time, and by all means, as always, make sure to press the like button here on my videos and live streams, and by all means, leave comments and write feedback and suggest new soundtracks that we should review here on my channel. Thanks a million for all the new subscribers. It's thanks to you that I can continue and work on listening and enjoying music. And also check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Gelhein. because there you can get behind the scenes footage and extra stuff that I don't post here on YouTube. And you can also check out the links here in the description to my Discord community, where we have nice discussions about everything between heaven and earth. And if you're a composer yourself, you can always post your music in. We have a specific channel called Share Music with Us, where you can share your own music if you want feedback or, want to share music with a nice community. Because there's always people listening in and giving feedback, and it's a friendly place. So make sure to join in. Yeah, so thanks. Hope you're having a nice evening, and I think I'm gonna go and play some or stream some Silksong on Twitch. You have all the links in the description if you want to check out my Twitch channel and watch my VODs or video on demands. So again, thanks for joining in. Hope you had a nice time. I had a really nice time with Silksong. Really great tracks. Great work, Christopher Larkin. I think that was his name. Yeah, Christopher Larkin, the composer of Silksong soundtrack. So again, thanks for joining in. See you in the next live stream or video. Bye. Dim dim da. Laurent. Let's just listen to Lace one more time. It's such a great track, the 5/4, the 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3. Yeah, so what an intricate track, Lace. It's just... it's one of my favorites. Added to liked songs, obviously. And Laurent Bial, welcome to the live stream. Late and all. I was just about to close up, but I want to listen into the tracks a little bit more here. Widow. They're really digging into the strings. Yeah, with a really cool track, but it did give me a little bit of Clair Obscur vibes. Maybe it's their... I can't really recall which of the tracks, but it's this part. You hear the resemblance? But it's a very short part, and it's a very common melodic phrasing, so no big deal, but a little bit, it's a fun little detail. Obviously a totally different arrangement, but just that cello line. I think we missed one track. Fourth chorus. Yeah, it's not just the style, it's just the core melody there that's very similar. awesome arrangement again. Just lovely, lovely voice leading there on that track. Yeah, so now it's time to finally close down for tonight. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours. But again, an awesome soundtrack with an intricate orchestration. And I'm gonna come back to this soundtrack, and obviously if you want to study orchestration, I can actually recommend you to study Silksong here, because it's really a masterclass in orchestration in many of the tracks. Just spot on awesome. But I'd love to know how many months or how many years they spent on producing this soundtrack. Yeah, so again, make sure to leave a like here on the video, write some kind comments, and please suggest some soundtracks that we should check out in coming streams. I'd love to hear what you want to hear, what you want us to listen to. What should we experience next? So thanks for joining in today and suggesting tracks. It was a lovely experience, and again, I'm gonna come back to Silksong and listen more, obviously. Yeah. Leave some nice suggestions for coming streams. And also let me know if you think this is a great format, or should we do it some other way. I have no idea. I'm just shooting wildly here from the hip. Yeah, so have a nice evening. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to this channel. And go and check out my Patreon. Patreon.com/Gellane. Because there's a free track today. Free track for everybody from my score for the game Mad Skills BMX 2. Which recently got released for the Switch, Nintendo Switch. And tomorrow I'm hosting another live stream where we're gonna check out and listen and talk about the scoring project for Mad Skills BMX 2. But it's not classical music, obviously. This is more like funky kind of groovy music with distorted bass and yeah, a lot of 70s inspired funk stuff. It's not a big soundtrack. It's just 6 tracks on Mad Skills BMX 2 soundtrack, but you can find it on my Bandcamp if you want to listen in before tomorrow's live stream. So here's the link to the soundtrack. So that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. So jump in tomorrow and make sure you can. Let's see here if I can find a link to tomorrow's live stream, so you can prepare if you want to join in. Let's see here. Yeah, I think this one is the right. So there you have tomorrow's stream link. I'll also leave it in the comment to this live stream so you can check it out. So by all means, log in tomorrow, come by the live stream, say hi, and we're gonna listen to some cool funk music. And I'm also gonna talk about the instrumentation, what kind of gear I used for producing the soundtrack, what kind of plugins, tools, what music application I was using. So we're gonna talk a little bit about behind the score, so to speak, how the music was made. So make sure you drop by tomorrow if you're interested in music production and composing and producing for video games or console games. Because Mad Skills BMX 2 was first released for mobile. I think it was first, maybe it was first PC, but I think Mad Skills BMX2 was the focus was on mobile, iOS and Android, and now it's on Switch. So come by tomorrow, and I'll see you there. So have a nice evening, nice Friday, everybody, wherever you are in the world. See you in the next one. Bye. Dim dim dum.